Welcome to the Resairchia YouTube channel. My name is Jorge, and in this video I will introduce you to Open jLUISMR, a pure Julia-based GUI for Modia. As you can see, it is an interface very similar to other softwares. You have different zones to load libraries, write your models, or read the documentation and the help. In the menu bar, you have the usual options such as new, open, save, save as, or quit. In the help, you can find a quick start guide, a solver guide to help you choose one of the different solvers available, read about the software, and read about the license. Here you can see the quick start guide with an example. This case is a harmonic oscillator. You can copy-paste the example directly on the text box for textual models and click on Instantiate. This option will instantiate your model and check that it is correct and it has the same number of equations and unknowns. You need to wait a few seconds. Once it's done, you will get a message telling you that your model has been instantiated. In the drop-down menu for the solvers, you will find different options. If you want to know more about them, you can access the solver guide. So far, there are two recommended solvers, the tSeed5 and the Auto tSeed5 with the Rosenbach 23 argument. These two are the recommended solvers. The other three options are for stiff equations or if you are using partial differential equations, but these three options are more advanced, so I recommend not using them unless you know that you actually need them. Then you can click on Simulate. You will need to wait a few seconds, but when you click, the model will check that the instantiation is correct again, and then it will simulate your model. The first time you do so, it takes some seconds while loading all the Modia options. Once it's done, this window with the results will pop up. You will be able to see the initial value of each variable and parameter and the ending value. If you click on any of them, another window will pop up with the different plots for each variable and parameter. You can change the labels of the X and Y axis and add a title to your plot. If you go to the Curves tab, you will be able to label each curve. In this case, the weight due to gravity, the spring force trying to restore, and the total force. You can change for positions or velocity. I will load now another model, in this case a pendulum that you can find in the Modia documentation. I recommend you visiting their website to learn more about Modia and all the options. Again, we can instantiate and simulate. If you want to change the start time, the time step, and the stop time, you can do it as I'm showing here. If you leave these values empty, there are some values set by default, being the start time 0, the time step 0.01, and the stop time 10 seconds. Now we can simulate with the Auto tSeed5 solver, for example, and Again, after waiting a few seconds, we will get our window with the results that we can plot again. You can change the different solver options and resimulate to compare the results. Now, on the left hand side of the screen, you can see that the resources has a button under it. You can click it to load the different electrical domain models. If you remember, we went through these models in a previous video. You can write your model like I'm showing using the components we have preloaded. As you can see, using map, you can change the value of the parameters inside each model. Then you need to write the connections between each pin. Once you're done, you can instantiate to check that the model is correct and then simulate. As you can see, you will see again another window with all the variables of the model. You can click on them to observe the results. I will leave in the description the instructions for installing the different packages needed to run OpenJLUISMR and the links to my GitHub, where you can download all the files needed, and a link to my website where you will be able to read the different blog posts about OpenJLUISMR and the OpenLUISMR project, where I will be introducing to other different tools that I'm developing. Thank you so much and see you in future videos.